Is it true that the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane, or?
Oh, I didn't. I thought it's the rain in Spain on the table leaves a stain.
That's only if it drips from your brain. Bet you didn't know there was a vocal version to the Electric Scooter Podcast theme song, but there is. I just don't normally play it because here I am talking, and then you hear someone speaking or singing in the background, and then your brain is going to fight between, well, which one do I listen to? And I usually prefer you listen to my voice, so I probably won't do that again. Maybe as we're ending. But that is the original version of the original theme song to the Electric Scooter Podcast with the super adulterated vocal sounds. Yeah, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane, and our guest paramedic, Cody, did experience some rain while he was scooting over in Barcelona. I am still under the influenza. I still have influenza. This thing is sticking. It's worse than COVID. It's already 2 weeks, and I'm still illin'. But that's a good thing for you, the scooterhead listener, because there's going to be less strange stuff in this podcast. I don't know, the fun stuff that I like to do. I'm ill, and so let's just go right into the convo. Cody, the paramedic, is in Spain. Again, specifically, he visited Barcelona and Ibiza, and he's going to talk about scooting in Spain. Before you came online, I read an article that I read on the internet, and the very first line, it was just coincidental. I wasn't looking up scooters in Spain or anything, but the first line was something like, when you get to Spain and look around, it feels like there are more scooters than cars. I don't think it said it feels like it. I added that. It actually said something like there's more scooters than cars. I know statistically that cannot be true. They must have meant, man, there's scooters everywhere, right? It was just hyperbole.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't my experience. There was a ton of scooters, a ton of pedestrians, and a ton of bicycles. I mean, way more than anywhere I've ever been. But there's also plenty of cars. There was a lot of cars. I guess it depends on what area. We stayed in several different areas, and La Rambla, there's definitely it's a touristy area, so there's a lot of bicycles and people walking around, and it's weird. Sometimes there'd be nobody on certain streets and then a ton of people on one street, but yeah, definitely a cool spot to ride a scooter.
How about
100%.
Ibiza? There was a lot of scooters there too?
At least the area we were in, I don't know if it'd be really conducive to ride electric scooters. I'm sure I saw them, but my buddy rented a Vespa when we were there. That seems like more of a Vespa spot, because in Ibiza, I guess there's kind of two areas. I mean, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but it looked like the north side of the island, there's an area called San Antonio. We didn't even make it to there. We were kind of in the main area on the south side of the island, which I don't even know what that's called. And
Ibiza del Sur?
I don't know. That doesn't seem like really a good spot. And that seems more like a spot you get a scooter if you live there. Not really to get around.
I see. I don't know. In my mind, Ibiza is much more of a party place than Barcelona, which I view as just a massive city.
Yeah. You kind of got it right. Everything seemed far away in Ibiza too,
Huh.
except for like little tiny local spots. But so just if you're cruising around that little neighborhood, a scooter would be fine. But everything was so close you can kind of walk. And if it's farther than that, you need to get in a taxi anyway. So
Where would you rather live, Ibiza or Barcelona?
for sure, Barcelona. I loved Barcelona.
Yeah? What about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to put into words. I would say, for one thing, I like the public transportation there. I mean, that's really like the main reason, I guess. The weather is similar to where I live now.
I've heard it. It's California weather, right?
Yeah, it's really similar. I would say Barcelona is California beach weather, and Madrid is probably California, like where it gets hot, like more inland.
Oh, okay.
Because Madrid, I heard, gets hot, but Barcelona, it's on the beach, so it's beach weather. They said sunny 300 days out of the year.
Huh.
It did rain one day when we were there, but no, I hate cars. And I hate that where I live, if you want to go anywhere, you got to get in a car.
Yeah.
And there, it's like I just had fun just walking down the street or riding the scooters or riding a bike. I feel like I'm with the people, and I felt like I was in a community. Whereas here, I feel so isolated. I have so many neighbors, but I don't know anybody, and everybody just sits in their cars, and you're not like amongst the people here.
They keep late nights in Barcelona, don't they? Like families are still walking the streets at like 11 at night, coming home from dinner and stuff like that.
Well, the sun didn't go down until 10, so that's one reason. The other reason, I guess, is culturally like the siesta thing, but I guess in really popular areas, places don't close during the afternoon for siestas, but a lot of the lunch places didn't open until 1 or 2 p.m. Like I went to go get lunch and didn't open till 1. And then even McDonald's and Burger King and all that stuff, that doesn't open till 10 a.m. Like almost nothing's open in the morning. Very few places start to open at like 8 a.m. I was up at 7 one time, and there was only one spot open at 7. Everywhere else opened at 8.
Huh. And how was the food? You tell me you ate. You didn't eat at McDonald's there. You ate local food, right?
I had cafe con leche almost every day. Cafe con leche and a croissant every morning.
Did you go out and get tapas? Did you get paella?
I had paella, I had tapas. Yeah, I had a cafe con leche and a croissant the first day, and it was so good. It was the best croissant I ever had in my life. I paid $2.02 for it.
Uh-huh.
I think it was 190 euros, and I kept chasing the dragon. I was trying to find it. None of the other cafe con leches or the croissants were as good as the first day I had it. So that's why I had it every day, because I was trying to find somewhere as good as the first day. But
did you get the one with chocolate? Have you ever had those?
they had those. Yeah, I don't need a chocolate.
They have them in Portugal, man. It's so good though.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people do chocolate covered churros too. I guess that's a thing in Spain. I didn't do that though.
So you said you could live in Barcelona even. You liked it that much.
Yeah, like I said, the main reason is I just don't like having a car. I mean, even though I have a Tesla, I don't even pay for electricity. So I don't pay for gas, and I don't pay for the electricity because I plug it in at my apartment, which isn't connected to my electricity. And I still don't I love my car. I mean, I wouldn't take any other car, but I still don't like having a car.
Yeah.
Pay car payment, car insurance. You got to worry about getting a wreck, maintenance. And so I just liked it there. You jump on the metro. I took the metro every day when I was there, and rode bikes and rode scooters and walked. I don't know. I just liked being outside.
Did you speak Spanish while you were there, or did you speak English?
Pretty much only English.
Really?
I would tell them every time I walked in, it said "hablas inglés." Yeah, and for one thing, the Spanish is so different there.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of words in Spanish. I just don't know the grammar, and I don't know how to put them together. And I wanted them to know right off the bat that I didn't speak that good of Spanish. So I would try. I mean, there's a couple people, where they'd try English and I'd try Spanish a little bit, but.
Yeah, I do the opposite. I trick people into thinking I know Spanish. Me gustaría aprender el español. That's my Mexican accent. Lo siento, mi español es muy mal.
Medical assessments, though, at work, I mean, I know how to say everything
Yeah, you could ask
medical
me.
in Spanish. I could totally.
How do you say, do you have diabetes?
Tienes diabetes.
¿Tienes diabetes? Gracias, no.
You can say tienes alta presión, high blood pressure.
How do you say it? Alto.
Tienes alta presión.
¿Tienes alta presión?
Another thing was we all four of us got away without getting any euros. Credit card.
What?
All day, every day, only credit card. No euros the entire trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's doable. The only time we needed euros or wanted euros, I should say, is like it was raining and I asked the guy at the hotel, how do I get an umbrella? And he said, there's guys walking up and down the street. Anytime it rains, like guys start walking up and down the street selling umbrellas.
So convenient.
But it's, but it's cash.
Yeah.
And then on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then on the beach, if you need a towel, there's guys walking around selling towels and selling drinks, water and whatever, beers. You need cash. So those are the only two situations where you need the cash.
How were the local people? Did you make friends easily? Did you meet girls? That kind of thing?
Other people have told me who have been there, agreed with what my buddies were saying that like, oh, the local girls here, they're not interested in any foreign guys, whatever. Like, I mean,
well, they haven't met
I don't know
me.
if I would say I got that vibe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe just because we're in a touristy area and they're tired of so many tourists being there. I mean, it's understandable, like I'm walking around, don't speak Spanish, and
I get that.
I don't know, getting everybody's way. So maybe that's what it is. But I can't think of any situations in particular. I mean, everybody seemed really cool to me. And, when I got nailed on the bicycle, that guy was really cool.
Uh-huh.
He was like, oh, I'm so sorry, even though I think it was my fault.
Amigos de Scooters, this is Carl McClarty of McClarty Films, and you are listening to the one and only The Electric Scooter Podcast.
I noticed Barcelona is very punk rock. That was the vibe I got too. Like really punk rock.
And a lot of graffiti, right?
Oh, big time. Beautiful buildings, like beautiful streets with trees and nice sidewalks and everything. But there's so much graffiti that it's almost like kind of cool. I mean, it's not like, random spots. It's just covered in graffiti, kind of like downtown LA, where it's almost so much that it's kind of gives it character and it's kind of cool. But I saw a lot of like metalhead, like where they're selling metalhead, like metal band T-shirts and hats. And I saw, like you were saying, people with their hair dyed pink. I saw this chick with blonde dreadlocks, and it seemed like really punk rock and kind of 90s a little bit. Was the vibe I got.
Interesting. Yeah, the graffiti doesn't do that much for me. I didn't enjoy it in Portugal. I didn't enjoy it in Prague. I just thought it was ugly. In Hawaii, where they have banks that have a giant wave with a shark cutting through it or something and a guy surfing, that doesn't bother me. I think that's fine. But people writing swear words and, pictures of genitalia and stuff like that on the side of a building when you're walking down the street with somebody, to me, it just kind of spoils the mood. I don't think it's cool.
No, and
the
graffiti wasn't nice either. It wasn't, artistic, but it just gave it like a seedy kind of punk rock, New York City, back in the day vibe, I mean, that's what I got from it. I didn't like the graffiti, but I'm just saying, if there was only a little bit and it was a couple things, then it's like, oh man, they ruined that spot. But it's everywhere. So it's kind of like, every single building, like it was crazy.
So it's bad, like Michael Jackson said bad. It's like so bad that after a while, it just is synonymous with good.
There's just so much. It seemed kind of punk rock. That's all. I mean, that's how I describe it.
Ahora, dígame sobre Madrid. Tell me a little bit about your time in Madrid.
Madrid didn't seem that cool. I was only there for 3 hours, but it seemed big, wide streets. Kind of more like a Los Angeles, or I don't know. It didn't seem as cool. Barcelona was like really walkable. I mean, I took the metro in Madrid, and they had scooters all over the place, just laying around. Whereas in Barcelona, I don't think I saw any scooters laying around, actually. I think the only scooters were available were from mom and pop places. And then to rent the bicycle, you have to return them to a certain location. And then if you're a resident there and you rent a bicycle, you have to return it to like a locking thing.
Yeah,
like
I've
a bike
seen
rack where
those
it
in
locks.
Italy and
Yeah.
other places. Yeah, if it's a bicycle, in general, I've never seen a place where you just leave it like you do a scooter. It has to go into its docking space.
Yeah, Madrid, though, they're laying all over the place. Pretty sure it's Bird and Lime. There might have even been more, but they're littered with scooters.
To avoid those super long flights, though, two places I'm looking at. Well, Ecuador, obviously, it's only 5 hours. And then Mexico City is only 3 hours.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
I was looking up Japan, too, trying to figure out different ways to where if I wanted to go to Asia, just to kind of break up the flights. I was looking at some app called, I think it's Skyscanner, something like that, where you can do multi-city flights, where you book it as basically multiple one-way flights.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking about doing like here, LAX to Japan, and then Japan to Vietnam, and then Vietnam to Bangkok or something. You know what I mean? Try to break up the flights.
I think the way to do it is go through Incheon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the reason I say that is I know a Thai guy here in Las Vegas, and he said, yeah, it costs a little extra money. Not a whole lot more, but, maybe $300 more. But you fly into Incheon, get some Korean food, stay for a couple days, and then boom, straight into Bangkok, whatever it is, 5 hours or whatever from Incheon. So I think that's the way to go. Maybe look at Korean Airlines is excellent. And if you can fly Korean Airlines, eat Korean food, and then my plan is to get an Airbnb for like a week in Korea. Only thing is, you got to be careful what time of year, right? Because it gets cold there, man.
I heard another guy say that on YouTube, and I believe it was about Korea. Someone else was saying, they're like, oh, I'm from Canada or I'm from Alaska, and it gets colder, but they're like, when I went to, I believe it was South Korea, they said they went somewhere. They're like, it technically on paper, it's not as cold, but they're like, it felt colder, like hurt your bones.
It's bone chilling cold. It is
weird. It's got to be something with the humidity or.
Yeah, I think
something.
it is. It's the humidity and something about the ocean currents, the way the wind blows that humidity, and it was just really something. So Incheon is a city by the ocean, and it's a northern part of South Korea, and they've got a lot of great seafood. I've watched a couple YouTube videos about it, and Airbnb didn't look to be expensive, and it looked nice. So I think that's probably what we're going to do, but we do like to go to Thailand, November, December, January, and that's the worst time to be in South Korea, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
I don't know. To escape the Vegas heat, though, maybe we could change it up and go June, July, August or something like that. Maybe that would make
I don't know.
more
Barcelona
sense.
was pretty cool. What I've been telling everybody is it seems like Barcelona, to me, my opinion, because I talked to two guys who went there, and both of them didn't like it. And of the four of us on the trip, me and another guy were like, oh, my God, we love it here more than where we live. The other two guys were like, it's cool to come here, but they're like, I like Southern California. But to me, Barcelona, I would say it's not really a cool place to visit, but but it seems like a really cool place to live.
The people I've known who have spent time in Barcelona, one of my buddies is a merchant marine. They all loved it. Nobody's ever said anything bad to me about Barcelona. But I do remember that my buddy that's a merchant marine said that one of the main reasons he liked it so much was the food.
Yeah, the food to me I didn't think it was that good. I mean, I had about 3 things that were really good.
What were they?
Maybe I just didn't know where to go or what.
Besides the croissant.
We went to some hippy dippy, like hipster cafe, whatever, where their specialty was meatballs. And I got like a meatball, how would you say it? Had 2 big meatballs in it, but it was in kind of a pita wrap with, it seemed like, I know it was goat cheese. I think it was goat cheese and cranberry sauce. And that thing was crazy good. I couldn't believe how good that was.
That sounds delicious.
I don't know if that's Spanish. Yeah, I mean,
no, that's like you said.
They called
that's
it albondiga.
It's hippie food.
Yeah.
Yeah, albondiga just means meatball, right?
Yeah. They called it albondiga. Usually when Mexicans talk about albondiga, it's like in a soup. But
right.
Meatball soup.
Albondigas.
I went to an Asian seafood place, all you can eat. That was cool. I mean, they had like crab legs and prawns and squid and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of seafood.
How much did
you
that
know what
cost?
I noticed about? Well, it ended up being more. Everybody,
obviously,
all the guys I went with, they all said, I went to that place by myself, but all the guys said, they're like, dude, nobody drinks water here in Barcelona. It's like, it's crazy. They're like, I don't see anybody drinking water. And it's because any place you go, they charge you for water. So, of course, I mean, if they're going to charge you, might as well get beer or wine or soda or something, you know?
Uh-huh.
But we were all getting water, and you had to pay for it. And I think they're kind of looking at us like, are you sure you guys want water? Like,
water? Who drinks that stuff?
So I got I think they advertised the seafood place as 17 euros or 18 euros for all you can eat. I'm like, oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
It was, good quality food, but it ended up being 23 or it was more because I got a water. I think the water was like 250 or 3 euros or something like that. So I think that's where they get you. It's still a fair price for all you can eat seafood. One thing I was going to say that I noticed about Barcelona that I was surprised was very, very ethnically diverse. A lot of Asian people. There's a lot of Pakistani people there. You go walk down the street to go get food, there's every place like Indian, Pakistani. I mean, of course you would, expect like Filipinos to be there, but I saw Koreans, Chinese people, Japanese people. I mean, it seemed as ethnically diverse as where I live, which I was not expecting.
Well, diversity makes for a great food scene, for one thing. It also
totally,
it's always good to have a broad variety of friends from all different places. That's always really cool. Do you know what the most diverse city in the world is? Queens, New York.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They got
Greek people.
Yeah,
they got all kinds
Russians.
of stuff,
yeah. Tanzanians, Somalians, I mean, you name it.
Yeah, but they had every kind of food there too. Like I tried to go to a Vietnamese place and it didn't open till 1 and it was like 12 o'clock. I was walking around by myself and I even got boba one day when I was there. I would say the number one thing you find is like kebab places ran by like Pakistani guys.
Yeah, if they're Turkish, they'll call it doner. Everybody has their different words for it. Yeah, man, kebabs. Jeez, I can't pass that up. It's like in Mexico.
That's what I got the first night when I was there.
It's al pastor.
Yeah, al pastor. Right? Yeah. The guy I went with from my work, he's Pakistani. And so he's speaking Urdu to the taxi driver. And he's like telling us what he said after. He's like, dude, that taxi driver's so funny. Yeah, he doesn't want to leave. He's like, I love it here. But yeah, definitely hear a lot of different languages there. Also, the weird thing is, I'm sure you know this already, but so Barcelona is in Catalonia.
Uh-huh.
So all the signs are written in Catalan, not
Catalan.
Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So everybody's speaking Catalan. And of course, everybody speaks Spanish, but it's kind of like they call it a main language or whatever you want to say. They're like, the main language isn't Spanish and it isn't Catalan. It's both.
Wow.
But every sign everything's written in Catalan. So it's weird, like on the trash can, it didn't say basura. It's similar to like French, Italian, and Spanish.
But you got along in
that.
English, you said. Most people did. It seemed like everybody pretty much spoke English.
Yeah, every single person I went up to, I say hablas inglés, they say un poco, and I mean, some people just knew a couple words, and then some people totally spoke Spanish, or they would say un poco, and then they totally speak English. Yeah, there was a couple of people who didn't speak English, but yeah, for the most part.
Some people
you talk
probably.
To every single person, they all say they speak 5 languages. Every single, like at the airport, they're like, yeah, I speak 5 languages, and tons of different languages there.
In some countries, like I found Italy to be this way, even if they do speak English, they're not comfortable with it, so they don't want to. So that's why they say un poco.
Yeah.
You know, but then they're like, so what can I help you with?
Well, check this out. I was eating at a Thai Japanese fusion place outside the hotel in Ibiza. And I went there. I didn't know what I wanted to eat. I was just walking around. It's the closest place to our hotel. And I was walking by and I saw it said Japanese and I wasn't gonna eat there. And then I saw it said Thai. I was like, oh, Thai and Japanese? Oh, I was like, it's a weird fusion. I'll try this. And I ordered from the guy. He's ethnically ambiguous. So I ordered something and he goes, oh, it's my first day, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting there eating. And then some lady comes up, starts speaking Spanish to him. And he's just like looking at her and he's kind of trying to point her in the right direction. And then like a minute in the conversation, she goes, you don't speak Spanish, huh? But she's saying it in Spanish. I could tell. She's like, you don't speak Spanish? Like, I think she said, hablas español, like that. And he said, no. And she was like, and you work here? So this guy was working in Spain, in Ibiza, and didn't even speak Spanish. And she got mad. She was like, oh my God, this guy's working here and he doesn't even speak Spanish. So there's people who work in Spain that don't speak Spanish. I was really surprised at the diversity there. It was like, that's another thing I like too.
Yeah.
About the trip. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to live in a diverse place. It's nothing like
That's what I'm telling you. I think you should go, especially, I'm telling you, I think that is like, got to be the best spot. I can't think of a better spot to ride electric scooters than in Barcelona. It is like made for electric scooters, but it also seems like one of the most dangerous places to ride an electric scooter.
Hey, you had me sold at dangerous.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, I was jamming on the scooter, and these guys, I was leaving the guys I was with in the dust, and I was just waiting for them to catch up to me. But it was dangerous, but I was having a blast. I was like, I don't know if I could do this every day, but I was like, I'm going to risk it today and just ride crazy, live dangerously.
And it felt
I did
awesome.
have a helmet, but yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so fun that I was like, I'm taking off. Like I finished eating, they were still eating. And I was like, I'm going to go meet up with the other guy. And then the other guy's like, I'm going to go get a massage. So that's why I basically commandeered his scooter. And I was like, they're like, we're going to go to Park Güell. I was like, well, I'm going to ride the scooter there. And it said 45 minutes or something. Well, it was 45 minutes by bicycle. And
Wait, 45 minutes to get to the park, or you have 45 minutes? Oh, I see. Okay.
To get to the park by bicycle.
Uh-huh.
And I think it actually, what was a trip too was you'd map it somewhere and it would actually, most places you'd map to, it was faster to walk than to drive a car, according to Google Maps.
That's probably true. But since Google Maps doesn't have anything for scooter, I guess you usually do go by bicycle. I wonder,
Yeah, so I did bicycle or walking sometimes and just went that way.
well, they say what takes 10 minutes to walk takes 3 minutes on a push scooter. That's if you're kicking it. So I can't even imagine an electric scooter. And electric scooters in a lot of situations, and even in some situations, even kick scooters are faster than bicycles.
This was like a perfect commuter scooter too. I don't know if you looked up the brand. It was called Max. I don't know if you looked up the model, but MAX. And it seemed like it went fast. It seemed like 20 miles an hour maybe. And they told us something about charging, but they're like, you won't need chargers, man. Like, this battery lasts forever. And it did. I mean, I couldn't believe. I was like, no way I'm going to kill this battery. I rode for hours. And I think the battery was more than halfway. And I was riding all uphill. And I was like, this thing is going to kill this battery and I'm going to get stuck. And it was also lightweight enough. I took it up 50 steps.
Wow.
No problem. I carried it with one arm. And I walked up all these steps. And then I was going to go into the park. And I asked the guy, I was like, can I take the scooter in here? He's like, no, you can park it. But then the other guys decided not to come. So I was like, yeah, I didn't have a lock.
And you had to get it back to the
locks or something.
You had to get it back to the mom and pop scooter shop.
Yeah, so we went back. I went back
the
to the mom and pop. Yeah. Well, actually, we rode. They're like, we're gonna ride here. And then I met up with them, and then we just rode. Yeah, we rode for. I mean, me in particular, I rode for hours.
Were your
And
buddies
it was
experienced scooter
crazy.
heads? Were they experienced scooter riders, or that was just their first time?
No, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was all their first time.
Well, how's that for some pretty cool conversation? There he goes. Cody, the paramedic, the scooting traveling paramedic. I enjoyed that conversation, and if you did, come back next week for some more. We'll have Cody back with us. Till then, keep your shiny side up and the dirty side down.